Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week have been going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new NBA player prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. We have NBA Finals Game 3 between the Thunder and the Pacers in Indiana today. And yes, it is today. I'm sorry about the mix-up in the last video. The game is tonight, Wednesday, June 11th. But Game 3 of the NBA Finals, I have another 5-leg parlay as part of our NBA Finals parlay series. Now, we are 0-2 so far, but I know there's no buts and there's no almost when it comes to betting, but one more time, we've been really, really close. On Game 2's parlay, 3 out of 5 legs hit. The 2 legs that missed, we missed them by 1 point/assist. Siakam, we had him over 19.5 points plus assists. He finished with 19. We had Isaiah Hartenstein over something points, rebounds. I can't quite remember. And he missed it by 1. So we had very, very, very narrow misses there. And the same thing with Game 1. We had a 4-leg parlay. 3 out of 4 legs hit. We missed it by 2 assists from SGA. So we've been right on the money, just a little bit off. So going into this one, we got our 5-leg parlay for Game 3. And like I mentioned in the last video, we're gonna be doing giveaways every single NBA Finals video in big giveaways, not just $25 gift cards. So here's what we're gonna do, because it's been on my mind a lot watching these NBA Finals, the disaster that is the courts. I don't understand why Adam Silver changes to begin with, how the NBA in-season tournament has these very distinctive courts with the colors and the big trophy in the middle, but then the NBA Finals, it was nothing. It looked like a regular season court, and then they threw in some animated trophies on the screen. It's been a disaster. So it's been on my mind a lot lately. So let's go ahead and comment Larry down below for the Larry O'Brien trophy, of course. Comment Larry down below in the comments, and if today's parlay hits, one lucky commenter will win a free $50 Amazon gift card. And like I mentioned in yesterday's video, if we get a little run here going, the awards will increase. So if this parlay cashes today, then for Game 4, the giveaway will increase to a $100 gift card giveaway. So $50 today. Of course, the parlay needs to hit. I'll pick one lucky commenter who comments Larry to win a free $50 Amazon gift card. And if the parlay hits today, then on Game 4's video, which is Friday, I believe, we will do a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway for that one. So with all that being said, all that away, again, comment Larry down below for your chance to win. Let's dive into today's 5-leg parlay. All right, guys, jumping right over to the outlier screen, our first leg of our 5-leg parlay. And again, to reiterate, we have Thunder Pacers Game 3, 8:30 p.m. tip-off. It is tonight, guaranteed, Wednesday, June 11th, in Indiana. Our first leg of our 5-leg parlay, we have SGA of the Thunder over 37.5 points plus assists. We're grabbing it for -240 over on FanDuel. Yes, we're using FanDuel for today's parlay, and yes, we are using alternate lines for all these legs. It's just the right way to go about this, and the data is very strong here, specifically in the last 10 games. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 39.6 points plus assists per game over his last 10 games. Except for Game 3 versus Minnesota, the rest of this last 10-game run, that includes the end of the Denver series and the 2 games so far in the Pacers series, he's been on the money with this line. And the beautiful thing about SGA is he can cash it for you in different ways. Look at Game 1, for example. 38 points and 3 assists, cashes the over. In Game 2, he had less points, but more assists. So really good run here for SGA, even from an overall standpoint, postseason and regular season. A 57% hit rate on this over, which, by the way, this is a very high line. So the fact that he had a 57% hit rate overall is very impressive. But really solid numbers, and of course the head-to-head data, 4 consecutive matchups with the Pacers. He's cashed the over. He's 4-0 this season, including Games 1 and 2 of the NBA Finals. So really good run here for SGA. And looking down below at the supporting stats, we know he's playing a ton of minutes so far in this series versus the Pacers. Game 1, he played just shy of 40 minutes. In Game 2, played just shy of 37 minutes. Taking a healthy amount of shots. I mean, Game 2, he took way fewer shots. He still took 21 shots. So 11 for 21. He's shooting the ball pretty well. Not terribly, not great. But the shot volume is there. The minutes are there. And then the potential assists, 15 potential assists in Game 2, 11 in Game 1. He made a little bit more of an effort to pass the ball a little bit more in Game 2, which is fine. Assists help us here. So overall, pretty good matchup. And we know the Pacers defensively this year, not very good versus point guards. 22nd in points allowed and 22nd in assists allowed to opposing point guards. So across the board, a really solid matchup for SGA here as the first leg of our 5-leg parlay. Next up, guys, the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. We're sticking with the Thunder side of things, and I'm a crazy guy for riding with this player prop here, but I'm addicted to betting Isaiah Hartenstein props. We're going Isaiah Hartenstein over 10.5 points plus rebounds. The line is just so low here. It's minus 270 over on FanDuel, so a lot of juice on this one. And of course, because the line is so small, the data across the board is going to be phenomenal. 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. We'll go real quick because, again, all of it's really good. Last 20 games, 90% hit rate. The overall data, postseason and regular season, in 76 games played, he's cashed it in 71 out of 76 games. That's a pretty incredible 93% hit rate this year. Incredible numbers. But again, the reason why the line is so low is because his minutes have just been not as reliable of late. The Thunder have pushed him out of the starting lineup. He's struggling to get to 20 minutes a game. That's a bit of a problem for us. Now, it shows you that he cashed in game 2, but remember, I said in our parlay from game 2, the line was actually a little bit higher than this, and we missed it. I think the line on game 2 was 11.5, and I think we missed it by 1. Now we got it at 10.5, so he did cash this in game 2, this specific line. But he is 2-0 so far in this series versus the Pacers on this number. The key thing is going to be, again, how many minutes and how many shots. Now, looking back to game 2, he did play 22 minutes, which is encouraging. Okay, he played a decent amount of minutes, but he only took 2 shots and shot 1 for 2. Now, granted, he hits the second shot, we have a cash in our hands, and he did cash the over anyways. I'm, of course, more speaking about his 11.5 line that we missed in our parlay from game 2. But the key thing is the rebounding numbers, which have been great. He only played 22 minutes, but had 14 rebound chances in game 2. And that's the thing. He's been delivering from a rebound perspective. You see here, he had 9 total rebounds in game 1, 8 total rebounds in game 2. So he's definitely been there. He's averaging about 6.8 rebounds per game over the last 5. But again, if you took just the 2 games in this series, he's averaging 8.5 rebounds per game through 2 games. So the rebounding numbers have been there. So again, if the line right now is at 10.5 and he's getting around 8 rebounds a game, all we really need him to do is score 3 points, which shouldn't be too difficult. The key thing, though, is how many shots he's going to take. Now, game 1, he did take 5 shots. If he takes that, we're golden here. If it looks more like game 2, where they only took 2 shot attempts, we're in a little bit more trouble. But even with the minutes, I mean, he's averaging over the last 5 games 18.2 minutes per game. He doesn't need to play 30 minutes. Obviously, that would help us here. But even with 17 minutes, you saw in game 1, he had 18 points plus rebounds in 17 minutes. So we don't need him to play a ton. As long as he continues to play in this range, the key thing is the number of shots he takes. But the line is so small. He's been so good for them. And honestly, the matchup is really sweet. The Pacers versus big guys, bottom half of the league, 19th in points allowed, 25th in rebounds. Is it scary? Is it risky? Absolutely. But the line is just too small for me not to go ahead and throw in the parlay. So I'm grabbing that as the second leg of our 5-leg parlay. Please, Hartenstein, you're our only hope. And for our third leg, we're going to stick with the Thunder here. We got Alex Caruso over 7.5 points. Another guy where the line is so small. He's been playing so well for them. Minus 225 over on FanDuel. He was one of the people we had in our game 2 parlay that definitely came through for us. He had 20 points in game 2 against the Pacers. And again, 9 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. Even if you want to stretch out the last 20 games, a 75% hit rate. Now, the overall data is not as great, 49% hit rate on the year. But for the most part, we're more focusing on the playoff numbers, and the playoff numbers seem to suggest he's been very reliable for the Thunder, averaging 10.4 points per game over his last 10 games. And from a head-to-head standpoint, 6 of his last 7 matchups with the Pacers, dating back to his time as a member of the Chicago Bulls, he's cashed the over, averaging 13.57 points per game across the last 7 matchups with Indiana. And if we do look at just the last couple games, the game 1 and 2 of the series, the most important thing for me is the fact that the minutes are certainly there. 28 minutes in game 1, 27 minutes in game 2. He's playing a healthy amount of minutes, and he's taking a good amount of shots. 8 shots in game 1, 11 shots in game 2. Game 2, he definitely shot a lot better, which obviously is why he scored a lot more. But with the sheer volume, the minutes played, the shot he's taking, and the matchup, again, the Pacers, not very good defensively versus point guards. And Caruso does play the shooting guard position as well. They're bottom 10 in that category as well. So it is a solid matchup as long as he's playing those number of minutes he has in the first 2 games. And based off how he played in game 2, I don't imagine that the Thunder will cut his minutes or cut his attempts after he had a really solid game 2 performance. I think it's a really good matchup spot here for Alex Caruso. I'm going to keep riding with the hot hand here. He's been a very reliable piece. I always like that trade in the beginning. As much as Josh Giddey, I think the potential is there. Caruso's a surefire thing, a surefire rotation piece for them. He's been a really good addition. He's been really good so far in this series. So there's no reason why I shouldn't take him when you give me a line of 7.5 points. So it's our third leg of our 5-leg parlay. And for our final 2 legs, guys, we are going to go ahead and stick with some Pacers props to give some love to Indiana here. Our 4th leg, now I've taken this guy and this line in all 3 games of the series so far, and I got, cash in game 1, didn't cash in game 2. I'm hoping game 3, he'll split the difference, and then he'll go ahead and give us the cash here. We got Pascal Siakam over 19.5 points plus assists. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I get that, but he did come through for us in game 1, and honestly, the data is pretty solid across the board. Again, 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 26.1 points plus assists per game over his last 10 games. And so far in this series, if we actually scroll over the head-to-head data, 4 of his last 6 matchups with the Thunder dating back to last year, he's cashed this over. That's a 67% hit rate versus OKC, averaging 20.5 points plus assists per game over the last 6 meetings. And again, so far, 2 games played in this series, he cashed the over in game 1 with 19 points and 3 assists. And then in game 2, he just missed the mark with 15 points and 4 assists. Now, why do I keep betting it? Well, again, the data is really solid. Again, 8 of his last 10 games, a 73% hit rate overall this year. Even versus the Thunder, he's had a pretty decent track record. But really what it comes down to is the opportunities have been there. He's just not capitalizing on them. The minutes played are there, obviously. Game 1, 35 minutes. Game 2, just shy of 30 minutes. But look at the shooting numbers. He's just not shooting well. And some of that is just himself. Some of that is obviously the Thunder's defense, which if we go over to the power forwards, they are really solid. Top 10 in both points and assists allowed to opposing power forwards. But Siakam is the second most important player on this team. I think Halliburton is 1, in my opinion. I think that's not really too much of a debate. And then Siakam is 2. If the Pacers are going to win this series, they need Siakam to step up. And I think that's the encouraging thing here is that he has not had a signature game yet in the series. Game 1, he was okay. 19 points and 3 assists is nothing to scoff at. But out of everybody on this court, he's the one guy with probably the most experience when it comes to winning a title. Obviously, he won a championship with Toronto. Off the top of my head, I should have looked this up after the last video I talked about this. I'm not sure if anyone else on either side of this have won a championship on the Pacers or the Thunder. I can't think of anybody. These are 2 teams with a lot of young, homegrown players. So obviously, I don't think there's a ton of a championship experience. I'm trying to think of what veterans are on both sides, if any of them have won a title before besides Siakam. But we know Siakam has that experience, and he was obviously a key piece of that championship team with Toronto. So I'm waiting for that signature Siakam finals game, being at home in Indiana. This crowd's going to be crazy. I'm hoping game 3 will be the game that Siakam kind of has his signature moment. And again, the volume has been enough where it's like, all right, he missed it by 1 in game 2, and he took 11 shots, shot 3 for 11. I would hope he's not going to shoot that poorly the rest of the series. He hits 1 more free throw or 1 more shot, and we go ahead and we cash the over. And he did go 8 for 9, but he hits that 1 extra free throw, we cash the over. Hits 1 more shot, we cash the over. So the volume has certainly been there for him. Tons of assist opportunities, tons of shots, tons of minutes. He just needs to capitalize a little bit more. Being at home here in Indiana for game 3, tied 1-1, obviously a chance to go ahead at home. I think Siakam's going to come through for us here. So we're getting it for minus 260 over on FanDuel, over 19.5 points plus assists. That's the 4th leg of our 5-leg parlay. And wrapping things up, guys, the 5th and final leg of today's parlay. This one definitely gives me a little bit of nerves, but he's been good so far in this series, so I'm going to rock with him. We're going Miles Turner of the Pacers, over 12.5 points, minus 210 over on FanDuel. And I know at some point I'm going to see in the comments, why are you betting this all overs? Where are the under bets? And look, I understand betting the under more often than not is the better play, but you convinced me to go ahead and bet SGA unders when he's playing in a series versus defense. You know what I mean? Like this is the finals. They're all going full throttle. Betting on these bench play. And the problem is for example, like Aaron Nesmith, right? I looked at some of his unders. The thing is that we remember that Knicks series. At any moment, Aaron Nesmith could hit like 6 threes and we're toast. So I think the overs in this case, I'm looking, and I'm being smart about it, but, I'm trying to find the overs that to me make the most sense. Would betting Miles Turner's under maybe be a little bit smarter? I mean, that's up for debate for sure. I'm someone who's definitely been burned by him before, but the data here seems to suggest this is actually a pretty good player prop. So let's talk about it. So Miles Turner over 12.5 points, minus 210 over on FanDuel. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 13.9 points per game over the last 10. And this is one of the ones I got burned in this game, that May 29th game versus the Knicks. I got burned. I took his over. He only had 5 points in the game. So that can happen. That's certainly scary. but he is averaging just shy of 14 points per game over the last 10. Overall this year, a 72% hit rate on the over, 65 out of 90 games. That, of course, includes postseason and regular season. He's cashed the over, averaging 15.49 points per game of the season. And from a head-to-head perspective, for the last 6 matchups with the Thunder, he's cashed the over, averaging 15.67 points per game. And again, a couple of the misses were close. 12 points there on December 26th, 11 points on March 29th. But importantly to me, so far, Game 1 and Game 2, he's cashed the over. 15 points in Game 1, 16 points in Game 2. And it really all comes down to volume. Now, he's played about 27 minutes in both games so far in this series. But the thing that I like to see is the number of shots. 10 shot attempts in Game 1, 12 shot attempts in Game 2, and he's shooting about 50% from the floor, which is solid. But point being is that the minutes are there, and he's taking a healthy amount of shots in these games. Again, this is a tough Thunder defensive team. People have to step up and score. Halliburton is not always a go-to scoring option. He can be at times, but he's not a consistent number one scoring threat like SGA, for example, right? And the way Siakam's been playing, he's okay, but could be playing better. Other guys need to step up for the Pacers, and Miles Turner, being one of the veterans of this team, he's got to be one of the guys to step up, and he has been for the most part. Like I said, he's not having great games, but he's having solid games. Taking a good amount of shots, making a solid number of shots. The Thunder are very solid defensively down low, but I do think that Miles Turner has been playing very well, and I think he has the potential to keep playing well. 12.5 is a pretty reasonable line. Now, if you want to play safer, you could go lower. You could go to like 11.5, which is minus 280 on FanDuel. But I think 12.5 is perfectly fine. Again, he's cashed in both games so far in the series. If you do go to 11.5, obviously all the data gets better. Now, all of a sudden, 5 of his last 6, 77% hit rate on the year. It definitely makes it a little better, but I think 12.5 is perfectly fine here. And Miles Turner has been very efficient at home this year. You see 34 out of 43 home games this year, he's cashed the over. It's a 79% hit rate in Indiana. So when he's playing at home, a lot better results. Look at the last 10 games, 9 of his last 10. That game versus the Knicks on May 31st, we had 11 points. It was the first time in 9 consecutive games that he had cashed the under. He'd been on a pretty good cover streak at home. That includes the Milwaukee series, the Cleveland series, the Knicks series. Some pretty impressive numbers. Even the last 20 games, 17 of his last 20 games at home in Indiana, he's cashed the over. So far, good numbers in the series. He's had a really good run at home. Pretty good numbers in general this year. I think it's a good player prop. Is there risk? Yes, of course there is. He could easily have like a 4-point game, but he's been playing so well so far in the series at home. The vibes will be there for the Pacers. I think Miles Turner should be able to cash this line, in my opinion. Could I be wrong? 150%. I might go ahead and kick myself afterwards for this one, but I do like the spot for my 5th and final leg in today's parlay. That's all, folks. Jesus Christ. All right, guys, jumping over on to FanDuel here. Give me a little bit of break here with the stuttering and whatnot. I did just get drilled by a golf ball on Sunday, 100+ mile per hour shot straight to the chin. Luckily, no broken bones, no broken jaw or anything. Yeah, so if I normally stumble on words, but I think I get a little extra leeway today because you can't see it because of the beard, but my face is literally completely swollen and bruised, all on the right side. Screw people who don't yell 4 on the golf course when they hit their shots, especially when you're in the opposite hole hitting into my fairway. Come on, guys. Anyways, 5-leg parlay. Quick little recap here. We have Alex Caruso over 7.5 points. Miles Turner over 12.5 points. Isaiah Hartenstein over 10.5 points plus rebounds. SGA over 37.5 points plus assists. And Pascal Siakam over 19.5 points plus assists. You parlay all 5 together, you get a parlay of plus 503 odds over on FanDuel. So pretty good value here. And again, there are profit boosters, all kind of things available right now for the NBA Finals over on FanDuel. So go ahead and check that out. And again, guys, don't forget to comment Larry down below in the comment section. If today's 5-leg parlay hits, I'll pick one commenter to give them a free $50 Amazon gift card. Guys, I'll be back on Friday for Game 4 of the NBA Finals, our final Freaky Friday video. I believe with the NBA schedule, there shouldn't be another Friday video. Yeah, no, that'll be our last Freaky Friday video of the NBA season, so emotions will be high in that game. It's kind of sad to know it's the last Freaky Friday video of the NBA season. But anyways, guys, until then, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Wednesday. Enjoy Game 3 of the Finals. I think it should be a really fun one. Series tied in Indiana. That crowd's going to be jumping. Shout out to any Pacers fans watching. You guys deserve it, man. That's those smaller market teams. Those are where not to say that big market teams don't have real fans, but obviously you have a lot more, I think, diehard fans of some of these smaller fan bases than the Knicks, for example. You have a lot of celebrities and a lot of rich people that just go to say they're going to Madison Square Garden for Knicks games. Not saying there aren't real Knicks fans out there, but like Pacers, Thunder in Oklahoma, and I've been to Indiana. There's not much going on over there. So you guys have nothing but to be dedicated to your teams. So Pacers fans, congratulations. Thunder fan, congratulations. Should be a really fun one, guys. Until next time, hope you're all winners. Enjoy your Wednesday. Let's go ahead and make some money.